Well, guys, it's time to start talking about how things are not all peaches and ice cream over here with the 2025 Cummins purchase. And this is going to apply to all of 2025 and some of 2026. I want to tell you some of the biggest problems I've had to date. It's September 2025, and there are some major regrets with buying this truck. Now, if these fixes are made, I will regret it less, but there's always going to be some regrets. So let's dive right into this one. And I'll also be coming out with a video here shortly on putting a used Bradford built flatbed on a 2002 second gen, if you have any interest in that. So what are the biggest problems? Well, first off, should have been patient and waited for a 2026, because us 2025 owners completely got the shaft. They decided to double the warranty that these trucks had for 2026. They're the exact same trucks. It's not like a 2002 versus a 2003, or even a early 98 versus a late 98. This is literally the same exact truck. So if you ordered any color basically besides black, gray, or white, that made it a 26. If you got the, I think it's 2400 watt generator, inverter generator, that makes it a 2026. There's nothing about these trucks different. It's not like they updated the interior or, you know, did some new exterior feature. There's nothing. It's the same truck. And us 2025 owners are spending a good chunk of our time at the dealership with the truck getting worked on because they don't work. So why wouldn't you send us that warranty to kind of appease us for being your guinea pigs and being your beta testers, because they didn't test these trucks before they started selling them. They're failing right out of the gate. We're doing the research and development for them. It's a big crock of shit. So that is the number one reason why you should not buy a 2025. Boycott the 2025s. Let them sit on these things like they've had to sit on the 2023s and 2024s. Make them realize, hey, people are only buying 2026s. We're going to be stuck with these 25s now because they only have half the warranty. Hey, let's just put the same warranty on the 25s as the 26s so we can get these 25s sold. Perfect plan. You guys need to quit buying the freaking 2025s. If you're looking for a truck, go get a 2026. All right, the next reason these things you should probably just stay away from until they get this figured out. There's at least two big problems. So like the master code that I'm seeing that keeps popping up is U1412. So I'm just going to call this the U1412 issue. And I'll try to put some videos up here while I'm talking. But what happens is all your lights come on. The whole gauge cluster lights up like a Christmas tree, disables the ABS, four-wheel drive, cruise control, front and rear collision warning. I mean, everything that has a module basically fails. Now, it's really annoying, but it can also really screw you over if you're in a situation where you're needing four-wheel drive, which is a reason I really wanted a manual shifting transfer case on this truck. I hate relying on electronics to shift into four-wheel drive. And not having cruise control really sucks. Fortunately, the turbo brake still works when that happens. But I've had this light come on 4 times. Came on the first time at like 1,700 miles and twice more before 3,500 miles. And then I went 3,500 miles without any lights. I went all the way to Vegas and back. And then I got back, it came on for the 4th time. And then that's when I experienced the real problem with U1412. And I'll show a video of this. So the truck doesn't know what position the transmission's in. It doesn't know if it's in park or drive or neutral. And it says, apply the brake. And it says you can't shut it off because it has to be in park to be able to shut it off. And that makes no sense to me, that logic. Because let's say your accelerator sticks and you need to stop. Easiest way to kill an accelerator is kill the engine. So I can't believe they would have any logic in their programming to never allow you to shut the engine off in any situation. But anyway, you try to shut the engine off, it won't shut off. So you have to pull this relay, and I'll show a picture of this so you know what to do if you find yourself in this situation. You pull this relay, that'll kill the engine. You have to disconnect the grounds from both of your batteries. I let my truck sit for 25 minutes just to give all the capacitors a chance to discharge. Connected the batteries and fired it up, and everything was back to normal. But it wouldn't shut off, it wouldn't shift. The only way, and then once I did kill it, I couldn't get it to start again. I actually tried remote start. That did not work. But after I tried that, then the dash push button start did work. So it's a very odd issue. It's left at least dozens of people stranded. I've personally talked to dozens of people. I don't know what the real number is. This should really be like a factory recall or something. So that's one issue. That's kind of two different symptoms. You get a bunch of lights, you lose a bunch of modules, and then there's the potential where you can't shift into gear or shut the engine off and it doesn't drive. It's stationary and it's just running. The second issue, which I was also unfortunate enough to experience, is the trailer brake controller burning out. It burned out at around 76 or 7,700 miles. I wasn't even towing a trailer when it happened. Ironically, it kind of happened when all these lights went off. You have so many lights and so many warnings that I don't know if it actually happened with U1412 or if it was its own thing. I read another guy said that his gain control plus minus, one of those buttons stuck, and he thought it burned out because one of the buttons stuck. Well, my buttons are completely clean. My truck's still like brand new on the inside, and there was nothing sticking. I wasn't touching the buttons, I wasn't towing a trailer when the controller burned out. So that tells me it's probably something either in the programming or one of the modules. I did get that replaced, so the brake controller is good for now. Now lastly, I want to tell you about the U1412 problem, what I found for that and what my experience has been so far. So as you know, if you watch my other videos, my bed was crooked when I got the truck brand new. It had to go back to the dealer body shop to get re-welded so that the tonneau cover would even sit all the way down in the bed. When I took off from the shop here to go to the dealer to get the bed re-welded, my U1412 lights came on for the first time. I was about maybe a quarter mile out of my driveway and those lights came on. So when I dropped it off the dealer, I said, hey, you can go ahead and scan this and see what all this is about, I guess, and you can fix this and the bed at the same time. Well, they claim that by the time it went from the body side over to the service side, the check engine light went off, and so they weren't able to fix it. They said something about, and don't quote me on this, but I believe they said it was the right side rear wheel speed sensor. So on this 12-inch axle, there's an axle speed sensor on each side of the differential. Super simple to get to. It's like 2 bolts holding the sensor in, and there's a quick connect plug. Well, it would just so happen that the right-hand sensors are on indefinite back order right now, so you can't even get them. So it's a problem part that fails, and then you can't even get it to replace it. So I don't understand how they're selling these trucks, and it's just a cluster. I mean, you've got major numbers of failures and no parts to fix them with, and they're not doing or saying anything about it to their customers. So the truck will be broken down during the most aggressive phase of its depreciation in its life. Those first couple months, it's going to depreciate the most in value. And it's going to spend those months being broken down or sitting at the dealer. I feel like we should be getting some kind of extended warranty or refund for that. So back to the dealer story. The dealer I bought it from told me, hey, the wheel speed sensors need to be replaced. We found that is causing U1412. So replace them, you should be good. So I called my local dealer, said, hey, here's the problem. They already know the fix. Get 2 of these sensors ordered. Scheduled it week and a half out because they were booked out on service. Week and a half went by. Day came for my appointment. They said, hey, are you still coming today? And I said, yep. Drove in. It's about an hour, 40 minutes later. I called them and I was like, hey, you know, what's taking so long? And they said, oh yeah, we're not going to be able to work on this because your check engine light's not on. I'm like, what the hell? My light doesn't have to be on. The codes are stored in there, right? You got a list of codes and they're like, oh yeah, we got like 30 codes. I'm like, well, there you go. But we can't replace your sensors unless we have a check engine light on the dash. So don't ever buy that story. I had to go to the manager. They're like, no, that's totally bogus. We'll replace the sensors. So let me look into it. They come back and they say, oh, hey, you know what? These sensors are on back order. We don't even have them. So they lied to me. They told me they ordered these 2. They got them in. They had me drive all the way to their dealership. I wasted 2.5 hours of my time to go there to get parts installed that they didn't even have on hand. Just a freaking joke. So after lots of discussing with the higher ups, they got 1 sensor located. Like I said, it's for the left-hand side. The right-hand side's on back order. So I'm going to be waiting for that one. But we'll do the left-hand one. And then there's an RF hub update. That code is 25-164. And again, I had to tell them about this update and get them to manually apply it to the truck. And obviously, I mean, this thing is so new. It's like probably only 2 weeks old or less at this point, this update. So we don't have enough miles and time on these trucks to know if that update also helps fix this issue. But that's where we're at. It's September 4th. Major problems with the 2025s and 2026s. That's my reasons. You should not buy a 2025, and why I would also hold off on buying a 2026 until you hear that they have this problem 110% nipped in the bud and solved. And after that, honestly, I can't get enough of this truck. I love it. I really freaking hate that we got the short end of the stick on the warranty. That is a slap in the face. It kind of alienates your customers. And I've tried to speak my displeasure and pass that up to the top of the chain. We'll see if it gets us anywhere. This YouTube video can't hurt either. It's just really a big slap in the face. We're buying these overpriced trucks and we're being their guinea pigs, and they still can't even throw a bone our way and give us a little extended warranty. So if you have these symptoms, hopefully this video helps you. Go get that update, get your wheel speed sensors replaced. And I wish all of you who own these the best of luck.